we are starting chapter number 1 from your chemistry portion, that is solid state. So first point is the characteristic of solid. So what are the characteristic of solid state? Solid state characteristic are that they are having definite shape and definite geometry. Their boundaries are fixed, they occupy specific space, and they are having rigidity, means they cannot change their shape easily. And they are not flow, they don't have the tendency to flow because their intermolecular forces are very strong. So they are not having any tendency to flow, but they are having the tendency of rigidity, to maintain its shape, to retain its shape. And they are not having any compressibility due to their intermolecular forces. So these are the general characteristics. From the geometry, we have divided the solids in two parts. The solid can be divided in crystalline solid according to their structure, crystal-like structure, and they can divide in amorphous solid. Amorphous means powdered solid. Basically, crystalline solids are called as true solids, means those can have all the properties of true solid of the solid. That's why crystalline solids are called as true solid, and amorphous solids are called as supercooled liquids. They can be called as supercooled liquids also. So I have one table according to the difference and the characteristic also. First characteristic is shape. Crystalline solid are having fixed shape and they are having irregular shape. Next is melting point. Melting point, the temperature at which they starts melts. So crystalline solid are having sharp melting point, means at a particular temperature they starts melting, and they amorphous solid gradually soften and then they starts melts. So their melting point is not sharp. Next is cleavage property. Cleavage means cutting by some tools. We can cut them by knife. Both of them can be cut, but crystalline solid are having smooth and regular surfaces, and non-crystalline or amorphous solid, they are having irregular shapes. They are having regular shapes and they are having irregular surfaces of their parts. Next is heat of fusion. Heat of fusion is melting of any substance, means solid to liquid conversion. The heat required is called as heat of fusion. They are having definite heat of fusion, but they are not having definite because they are having they can gradually soften. Their melting point is not sharp, that's why. Next is anisotropy. That is important, children. Anisotropy means the characteristic of crystalline solid, because they in a different direction, if we measure the physical characteristic, then their measurement will be different in different direction because of their regular geometry. Such as I am taking here the example of NaCl. NaCl, they are having two ions, NaCl. If we take the physical characteristic in this direction and in this direction, then the number of ions are different in different direction. That's why they are having different values of physical properties. And they are having isotropy. Amorphous solid are having isotropy because their arrangement is irregular. So in any direction, the value will be same. And next is order of arrangement, long range order. They repeats their property after interval, means their arrangement is regular. That's why they are having long range order and they are having short range order. These are the differences, and the example we can take crystalline solid, all the crystalline substances such as salt, sugar, and powder, glass. Others are the example of amorphous solid. So now is what we are discussing. We are discussing now crystalline solid because these are more important. So amorphous solid, children, one point was left, that is amorphous solid are called as supercooled liquids. Why they are called as supercooled liquids? Because by the time passes, they starts melting and they become soften and their bottom becomes more wide. Such as we can see in old buildings. In old buildings, the bottom of the glass pans are more wider due to amorphous solid, because glass is amorphous solid, and when the time passes, then it starts melting. So these are called as amorphous solids are called as supercooled liquids. This is important question. And quartz is crystalline solid, and silica quartz, it is supercooled liquids. Then we have to divided the crystalline solid according to their intermolecular forces or interatomic forces. First is molecular solid. So molecular solid, their constituent particle will be molecule only. So molecular solid can be divided according to their forces, according to the forces in between the molecule. Say though they can divide it in three parts. First, non-polar molecular solid, polar molecular solid, then hydrogen bonded molecular solid. So there all the three are having molecules as the constituent particles or constituent atoms. The forces will be different. According to the forces, we have divided the molecular solid in three parts. Non-polar solids are having dispersion forces or London forces. Those we have discussed in class 11, that London forces are the instantaneous dipole-dipole interaction forces molecule in between the molecular solid, in between the molecules. The example can be argon, CCl4 carbon tetrachloride, hydrogen, and I2. I2 can be converted in solid also. They are in the solid form. But they are not so solid, their physical nature is soft. They are some kind of soft nature. They are having soft nature. And they cannot conduct electricity. They are insulator of electricity. Because no free ions are there. And they are very hard. These are very hard. Melting point जो है, it is very hard, very high melting point. Next are polar, because they are having some polarity in them. They are having two poles, positive pole and negative pole. So they are having dipole-dipole interaction. HCl is the example. We can see that HCl is having two poles, plus and minus. It is having at a particular instant that it is having dipole-dipole interaction. So the molecules can come closer to each other and they combine and they can have the solid state. So solid HCl, solid SO2, solid NH3, these are the example of polar molecular solid. But they are some kind of soft and they are insulator also, and their melting point is low. Next are hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Molecules, those are having hydrogen bond in them. Hydrogen bond, what is hydrogen bond? When hydrogen comes in between more electronegative element, FON, fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. So this is called as intermolecular hydrogen bond. So intermolecular hydrogen bond, they are having hydrogen bond, and the example is H2O, ice, in the form of ice, solid, and their physical nature is some kind of hard, but they cannot conduct electricity. So they are insulator and their melting point is low. 0 degree centigrade is the melting point for ice. So next are ionic solids. Ionic solid, their constituent particles are ion. Ionic solids are having ions, and in between ion, which force is there? Electrostatic force is there, or Coulombic force is there. So in between ion, ionic force is there. That is called as electrostatic force. And the examples of ionic solid is common salt NaCl, zinc sulfide, calcium fluoride. Other examples are, many more examples are there. Those are having solid state. They are hard and brittle. Hard due to the electrostatic force, and they are brittle also, means we hammer these solid, they can be break into smaller pieces. That property is called as brittle nature. They are insulator in their solid state, means NaCl, common salt, is insulator. It cannot conduct electricity in its solid state, but in its molten state or in its aqueous state, they can conduct the electricity, because in molten or their aqueous state, they can form the ions, and due to ions, the electricity can flow. And their what are their melting point? Their melting point are high due to the electrostatic forces. So all the properties depends on the forces in between the constituent particles only. Ionic solids are over. Now metallic solids, for third type are metallic solid, means these are metals only. Those are having metallic bond in them. And what are their constituent particle? All the metals are electropositive in nature, means always they possess positive charge, and the electrons are free to move. They are localized, very much electrons are there, but when we have the electricity, then the electrons will flow and they can conduct the electricity also. They are good conductor of electricity in their solid state as well as in their molten state. And they can conduct the heat also. Their one corner can conduct the heat to the another corner also. Means conduction in metals also takes place. Now the example are all metals, and they are also hard and they are ductile. Ductile means they can be drawn into thin wires, and they can be have the thin sheets also, such like aluminium. So they are having malleable nature. Their melting point are very high. Next, last are covalent or network solids. Their constituent particles are atom because they are having covalent bonding. And how covalent bonding form? Covalent bonding is formed by the sharing of electrons. Due to the sharing of electron, covalent bonding is forming. So the examples of covalent bonded solids are SiO2 silica, silicon carbide, carbon allotrope diamond, that is hard, but carbon allotrope graphite is soft. These are insulator because they are not having free electron, but in graphite, due to sp2 hybridization, one electron is free in each carbon, so they can have the conduction of electricity. So graphite is used in the electrodes also, and their melting point are very high due to the covalent bonding. Now the children is next topic, crystal lattice and the unit cell. So crystal lattice, the lattice that is arranged in the space. So in the space they are arranged in three-dimensional regular pattern. Their pattern is repeating. Its each point is called as its lattice point, and we can join the lattice point by the line so that we can have the geometry. This is the cube-like geometry. One part of the unit cell, one part of the crystal lattice is called as unit cell. So what is unit cell? Unit cell is the smallest portion of the crystal lattice that can have the all properties those are having in the crystal lattice also. So what are its parameters? That a crystal lattice is having 6 parameters. These are its 6 parameters. This is cube-like structure. In that, alpha, beta and gamma, these are called as alpha, beta and gamma are called as edge angles. These are called as edge angles. They can be 90 degree or they can be lesser than or more than 90 degree also. They can be equal to 90 degree or they cannot be equals to 90 degree in different crystals. So crystal lattices are 14, and who discovered them? Brevis discovered them. In your book one table is given that is related with the 7 types of crystal lattice. In them these 6 parameters are different in different unit cells. Next parameters are edge length. Edge length is, this is A, B and C. These edge length can be equals to each other and they cannot be equals to each other according to